more and more people that are definitely attracted by the ice and snow culture of Harbin.
I think the best thing living in Harbin is like we are able to wander in summer.
Overall, I definitely say Harbin is a fantastic city. My name's Jack Forsdyke from the UK. I'm 29 this year. I ended up in Harbin. I think the story is quite a long one. It started, I guess, with me studying Chinese at university in the UK. After I graduated, I felt like coming to China to work was a natural choice. So that was what I did. I spent 2 years working in Guangzhou, but actually while I was in the UK, as I was graduating, I met my current wife. And obviously she's from Harbin, so from her I was able to learn a lot about Harbin. I visited it with her, and then since I left my job in Guangzhou, we actually decided to move to Harbin and live here. My first time here actually was when I was an international student in China. So in 2018 or the beginning of 2019. At that time, I didn't know a huge amount about China, but I was studying there and I was looking at great places to travel during winter, and obviously Harbin came up as a highlight of China. As soon as I saw the 冰雪大世界, I think I knew that somewhere that had such a huge ice and snow event like this would definitely be appealing to me. It felt like something that I really should go and visit myself, despite having never been somewhere so cold. So I think it was January 2019. I actually went and visited Harbin. I didn't spend long, just a few days, but I was able to visit the ice and snow world and spend time by the river. And for me, I think what obviously left the deepest impression was the ice and snow culture at that time, because I'd never been somewhere that got so cold and that celebrated its culture of being in such a cold location. So the fact that the ice and snow world even existed to me was incredible, because I could never imagine such huge ice sculptures and the amount of effort that must have been put in to create them. And then obviously seeing the river that runs through Harbin being completely frozen over, you know, people going ice skating, people even driving cars over it. I think that was an incredible experience as well, because I'd never imagined that actually when the river freezes over that thick, it can almost become an attraction for people. So that was definitely something that amazed me about Harbin.
I think as a person who always, study away outside Harbin, and now we came back for living here, for almost settled down here, and I feel it's also a quite new experience to me, because Harbin, it's my hometown, but I left here after 17 years old. I went outside for studying for a long time and work afterwards. So living here is also a new experience to me. Since we moved back and I got the chance to experience the ice and snow culture at a new level, because when I was young, when I was little, the ice and snow statues were just very natural to me. I never realized how prestigious it is, and also how unique in the world. I only know the scale of Harbin's ice and snow culture from studying abroad or studying outside of Harbin, because when I mention where my hometown is to people outside, and they are very curious about the ice and snow. And at that time, I realized, wow, my hometown is really famous, and that's a place I should be proud of it. So I also learned more after settling here.
Definitely, tourism has obviously been growing here in the last couple of years. That's something that's been very noticeable. I think the last couple of winters there have been more and more people coming to visit Harbin, more and more people that are definitely attracted by the ice and snow culture of Harbin. But not only in winter, this year I think I also saw more people in summer coming to visit Harbin. Perhaps they were coming from hotter places where the summer was quite uncomfortable, and they wanted to come somewhere that was comfortable and had nice temperatures to walk around and relax in during summer. So I think tourism is definitely something that has been changing, definitely in a positive way, because there's more and more people coming and experiencing Harbin for themselves. There was also a little bit I think perhaps it was around the Asian Winter Games. I think there was definitely some improvements in public transport that we noticed around that time. I think there was a big effort with the underground to make it easier for internationals to access the underground, whether it was buying tickets or using tickets on your app, or whether it was adding English to some of their places. I think it made an effort to internationalize the transport so that it was easier for non-Chinese nationals to use as well. I don't know about you.
We now have 3 tube lines, which
Yeah.
is great. Because when I left Harbin for studying, the line 1 hasn't started yet, hasn't opened yet. So now we have 3 lines, which is brilliant. And I can see like the whole city made such a big effort on opening the Winter Asian Games 2025. The whole city were very passionate about welcoming people from outside Harbin, not just within China, but also the rest of the world. But for transportation, yeah, I do hope that we could open more lines transportation from, especially from the airport to the city center though.
I think that the best thing living in Harbin is like we are able to wander in summer, because in most city in China,
You want to hide away from the heat, right?
it's very, very hot in summer. But in Harbin, we have the excellent summer temperature. And we have a lot of festivals, the beer festival, the like Western food festival, music festival, lots of activities we could join. So it's a very nice experience. And also now we can see a lot travelers, they visit Harbin in summer just for hiding away from the heat.
Yeah, I think there's one thing that we often say as well, that visiting Harbin, it's like walking around almost an outdoor architecture museum, because there's so many old buildings that are very unique in their architecture within China. Whether it's walking down Zhongyang, the main central avenue in Harbin, or whether it's just walking through some of the other older areas, you can see so many old historic buildings that I think are very unique to China. And I think that was something that I almost took for granted as well. And then when I visited other parts of China, I think somewhere like Guangzhou, for example, when we visited Xiamen, it became really obvious to me, like Xiamen in Guangzhou is a huge tourist attraction. And actually it's just a lot of buildings that are, again, quite unique architecture to that area. But for me, it felt incredibly normal coming from Harbin, because I was like, I feel like all of Harbin is like this. So I think Harbin is really unique for the amount of architecture that it has on show. And so something that we like to do often is visit a lot of different coffee shops that have opened within these unique old buildings. I think that's something that is very difficult to do in other parts of China, because there's not as many different buildings and they have all become, I think, quite large tourist attractions. Whereas in Harbin, there's so many of these buildings that actually some of them can just be small independent businesses. So we love visiting small independent cafes that serve great coffee and cakes, and they serve it in an incredible environment in a really old historic building. So I think that's definitely something that we enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis. And just walking by the river as well, enjoying a lot of the music, since as we know, Harbin is a city that is famous for its music. So it's really great to just walk by the river and see the amount of people that are just playing music, whether it's choirs that are practicing together, or just an independent player like a saxophone player that we saw one time walking down by the river.
And also seeing
I think
the
it's a lot
sunset
of
is a great thing.
Yeah.
Because
So
Harbin has a very clear blue sky always. It's pretty unique. I only realized after I left here, other cities they're always cloudy, especially in winter.
especially places
But
closer
Harbin
to the
is,
sea as well.
although it's very, very cold in winter, the sky is always blue and the sunshine is always there. So whenever you want to, like if you have spare time, definitely you go to the riverbank, watching the sunset is a very unique experience.
And there's-
A must do thing in China.
So many
in Harbin.
different places you can see it from as well. Obviously, the riverbank is the most classic, but for us locals, we often just walk around the Goldal. It's a beautiful wetland area. We love just walking around that wetlands area, walking the dog, and especially going an hour or two before sunset, we can just watch the sunset come over Harbin while we're walking around. So it's definitely something that we enjoy doing a lot.
And also realize not just us like coming back to Harbin for staying, and also realize a lot of young people, they give up life in bigger city, in tier 1 city. They are coming back for opening their own businesses, like opening a small cafe, opening a pub, a bar, like that. So we really can see a lot small business emerging.
Overall, I definitely say Harbin's a fantastic city if you're a foreigner looking for somewhere to stay or to live in China. There's a lot of things that are attractive. The food, for example, I think is very welcoming to foreigners that maybe haven't tried a lot of Chinese food. It's not overly spicy, which I think is something that can be difficult for foreigners. And there's a lot of salty and sweet and sour tastes that I think are very popular with people coming to China from outside of China looking to try some Chinese cuisine. So I think the food is definitely one part of it. Obviously as well, some of the Harbin specialties such as the bread, the beer, the kvass, and things like the sauerkraut. These are also specialities that actually a lot of internationals from other countries also have in their own country. So I think these things, and obviously the Harbin sausages as well, there's so many things that can almost make you feel a little bit more at home, even though you're eating food in China and it's a very different experience. And I think just overall, Harbin is
People
an
are
incredibly
also very
welcoming
friendly,
city.
yeah.
Obviously, we've talked before about how Harbin is almost, its history is almost related to being an immigrant city in China. So for a long time, it's always welcomed people from outside, whether that was from outside of China coming into China, or whether it was from outside of Harbin coming in from other areas. I think it's always been somewhere that's welcomed outsiders. It's never had a very strong local population that doesn't like outsiders. So I think that's something that's really unique and special about Harbin, because it means we never feel like we're outsiders or that the locals look down on us or don't respect us or aren't welcoming to us.
But respect
I would
different
definitely say
cultures.
that that's a great thing about living here.